What's up, everybody? Think International. I'm Jeff Morris here. We're at the Sticky Teams Conference. I'm with Toby Slough of Cross Timbers Church in Texas, correct?
In Texas, Argyle, Texas.
Argyle. Where exactly is Argyle, Texas?
It's in the Metroplex. It's out north toward the airport.
Nice, man. So how long have you been pastoring that church for?
12 years.
12 years. And you're the planting pastor, correct?
I am. I'm the founding pastor.
Nice. Now, you're actually in a major thing right now in your church where you're, even though just 12 years in, you're really thinking about the future of it, the legacy of your church. Can you just talk to us about legacy in that?
Yeah, there's really two aspects. One aspect is we embarked about 18 months ago on a challenge to our church that what is going to be our legacy to the next generation.
Right.
I'm convinced, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the next generation doesn't care about an institution; they care about a movement.
Yeah.
And if we're going to reach the next generation, we're going to have to position what we do as a movement and not just an institution. We live in a little town. I live in a little town called Denton, which has the second largest public university in the state of Texas. Nobody knows about it because their football team's awful, but which is funny.
Yeah,
but
Texas football,
it's a huge liberal arts college and very unchurched. Well, I can walk on that campus, and in 2 hours I can raise thousands of dollars to hug a tree.
Wow.
To save a bird. I mean, the next generation is about a movement, and I think that the local church has got to take our kingdom movement and reposition it for the next generation. And so we asked our church to give substantially over the next 3 years to build things like a school in Uganda, to begin a feeding program in India, to do some things. One of the things, honestly, a part of that was we're going to be debt-free because we want to leave this movement. We want to commit to them, unlike our country, that we're going to try to learn to live under God's principles as far as it relates to
really
debt.
Good.
And so the church has gotten behind it. And so that's one aspect of it is, what are we going to leave the next generation? Not an institution, but what is the movement going to look like that we're going to hand to them and say, this is yours, take it places we could have never taken it. Right. And I think you have to have some tangible symbols of that. And so a school in Uganda, feeding program in India, some of those kind of things I think are going to help us. But then there's this side. The other side of legacy is my role as the lead pastor and the founding pastor. I'll be 50 next year.
That's young.
And it's young. But you do start thinking about,
true, yeah.
I told the church a few weeks ago, 15 years from now, I'm going to be done doing this. In the role I'm in now. And so we're really focused. I'm very focused on how do I find and equip the next generation that will be young leaders in the church. This weekend I have a young guy that I've been working with for months who's going to teach. I'm going to be there with him, and we've been working on his ability to teach. And then I've got another young group of guys that I meet with regularly, just talk leadership. How do we deal with this situation? And so we're looking for young men and women that want to give their lives in full-time ministry, but I don't want to wait.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, you said you're 50.
Yeah. Almost
50. You're almost 50. How early should somebody who leads a church, leads a movement, begin to think about succession?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that, because my answer would be earlier than I did.
Yeah.
Because what we did this year is I began kind of a reverse engineering process. If by 65 I want to be in a different role than I'm in now in that body, then let's back up and see how long is it going to take to be able to test, to be able to find, to be able to train the people who will take us to the next level.
Right.
And when you reverse engineer it, I should have started when I was 46. I'm already behind because you don't, and I know you listen to that go, that's a long time. Well, there's got to be this season of you gather young leaders, and you give them something to do in the church, and then once you see them beginning to rise, now we're going to pour, we're going to invest here, now we're going to point toward this, and here's how we point toward it. It's a long process.
Pouring into the next generation, and really it's about empowering them as well. Your young leaders. In churches, there's a ceiling a lot of times for young leaders because you're the lead guy, and I'm going to be the lead guy. And so a lot of our young leaders are finding other places to go. How do you keep good, strong young leaders at your church and your movement?
Well, I think they know that I want to invest in them. They know that I have their best at heart.
Yeah.
Two is, honestly, young leaders are impatient. They want a seat at the table. Well, I'm not ready. There is a part for the next generation to understand. You know what? I'm gonna teach you and test you in a way that we're going to give you opportunity to grow. And at some point, as you prove that over a period of time with your life, we're going to invite you in to even a deeper level there. I'll tell you another thing that's happening in the church is I think we're giving the next generation, we're leading them to believe that they have to hit home runs.
That's really good.
Okay. And so, like, I'm a teacher first, right? I'm a teacher leader. I'm not leader teacher. I'm teacher leader. And so, in terms of teaching, I tell these young men, I don't need you to hit it out of the park.
Right.
I'm fine with a single. I just can't have a Josh Hamilton 3-pitch and strikeout kind of deal we had in Texas. You know, so we have that conversation.
Wow.
And I think that's a part of empowering the next generation is giving them. You know, it used to be give them freedom to fail. I think now it's, man, I just want you to hit a single. Don't feel pressure to knock it out of the park and circle the bases with your hat off. That's not what we're looking for. And so I think that's how we can help empower them as well.
Now, you've talked about you've had a struggle with anxiety in the past and how that affected your ministry and whatnot. Does that change the way that you deal with young leaders?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think it is. There's more of an empathy that I have. You know, you and I talking about some of the challenges you've had in the past.
Exactly.
Why do you talk to me? Because you know that's been my struggle.
Right. Yeah.
And so, I want to talk. I want to talk to young leaders about their family, about what's happening at home, about how they're managing conflict or challenges. I want to talk to them about those things before I talk about what they're doing.
That's really good.
And so, before, honestly, it would just be, let's talk about the job. How can I help you do the job better? No, I don't want to just help you do the job better. I want to help you be better.
Yeah.
And so that's really where it's kind of leading me. And I'm learning. I really am. I'm learning how to mentor and to invest in the younger generation. But, man, I'm loving it.
That's so good. Now, do you have resources available, books, websites, anything like that for our people out there to?
You know, if you go to crosstimberschurch.org, there's a link there to the next generation, and in that you'll see a lot of these projects and things we're talking, and you'll hear our heart for the next generation.
Awesome. Are you on Twitter?
I am at TOBYSLOUGH at Toby Slough.
Perfect. Hey, Toby, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Think International's Sticky Church.
Awesome. Man.
Perfect. Man, that was good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Love your heart, man, for sure.